You pay for water every month, so why is it running out? The text arrived before I woke up. Engineers working to restore water supply. I turned on the tap. Nothing. Not a trickle. Not a warning the night before. Just a message after the system had already failed. The notification system. Perfect. Faster than most emergency services in this country. Better than the civil defense system, if we are being honest. The pipe it was notifying me about had been broken for years.
Welcome to Fix Britain. No politics, no lies, no propaganda, just logic and common sense for you.
When I opened my front door, 3 bottles of water were sitting on the doorstep. Not from water company, from my neighbor. And if it hasn't happened to you, yet it will. So here's the question that should bother you. How does a country build a system that texts you with minutes but cannot fix a pipe for a decade? Because the answer tells you everything about who this system was actually built for. And it was not built for you. You pay a water bill every month, and if I asked you what you are paying for, you would say water. They deliver it. That is the deal. That is the answer you came with. And if you are like most people in this country, you have been paying for the wrong thing for decades without knowing. Here is what I need to show you. That is not the deal. It is never the deal. And by the end of this, you are going to see exactly what the real agreement is and why 3 bottles of water on the doorstep is not a story about a kind neighbor. It is a story about a system doing exactly what it was designed to do. Before you pay your next water bill, there is something you need to see. There is a map, publicly available, updated regularly. It shows every known leak in the water network across England and Wales. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. It is not a map of isolated problems. It is almost entirely covered. Right now, before water reaches your tap, it leaks out of the ground, not because of drought, not because of heat wave, but because of pipes that are on that map and have not been fixed. 3 billion liters every single day. 1,200 Olympic swimming pools gone before it reaches you. Remember that number. The water companies have that map. The regulator has that map. Your water company knows exactly where the leaks are. And the pipes stay broken. Which raises a question. If they know where the leaks are, why are they not fixing them? And here is a part nobody tells you. In 1989, the government sold Britain's water infrastructure. Not the water, the pipes, the reservoirs, the treatment plants built over 100 years, paid for the public sold. 10 companies, 10 regional monopolies, one for each part of England and Wales. You cannot switch providers. You cannot go elsewhere. If your area is covered, that is your only option for life. That is not a market. that is a license. And when you hand someone a monopoly, you make a choice. Regulate it tightly, protect the public. Regulate it loosely, protect the return on investment. Britain made that choice in 1989. And the people who made it wrote it down. There is a prospectus, the document used to sell those companies to investors. It describes the regulatory framework in 3 words. It will give you those 3 words. But first, that number, 3 billion litres. Because now there is a receipt. Since privatisation, water companies in England and Wales have taken out over £72 billion, not invested in pipes, not spent on infrastructure, pulled out of the network into shareholders' accounts. In the same period, pipe replacement ran at third of the rate needed to stop the leaks. So that map covered in red is not a mystery, it is arithmetics. Money pulled out, pipes left broken, water disappearing into the ground, and your bill going up. Bills are forecast to raise 47% by 2030. Not because water got more expensive, but because companies borrowed money against the infrastructure, paid it out of stockholders and loaded that debt into the balance sheet. And here is the line that should worry you. The debt now needs servicing. Every month by direct debit by you. The regulator is called Ofwat. It is job on paper, it is to protect you. But here is the asymmetry that matters. Ofwat controls how much comes from you. It does not control how much goes out to shareholders. Which means a company can borrow against its own infrastructure, pay that money on, load the debt onto the balance sheet, apply to raise your bill. So here is what you actually paid for. Not what. Every month that direct debt is serving a debt that was created when someone borrowed against the pipes your grandparents built, paid that money to investors, and handed the bill to you. And you have been paying it ever since without being told that it is what you were paying. 3 bottles of water on the doorstep. That is not what a service failure looks like. That is what the model looks like when it runs. Britain did not privatize its water. It sold you a license to pay for something else, return on investment. And once you see that, everything else suddenly makes sense. And the mechanism does not care who won the election. It just runs. Now you might be thinking, this is worst of it. The leaks, the bills, the dividends. It is not. Because while this was happening, while the pipes leaked and the money flowed out, water companies were pumping sewage directly into rivers, hundreds of thousands of times every year for years, documented, approved on your record. And when you see who sign it off on it and what they said when they did, you will understand that it is not just an infrastructure story. It is about what happens when the regulator works for the system supposed to regulate. And that is not even the biggest one.